This is the video that goes with the worksheets. So this is the worksheet. We're going to have a look at the worksheet and go through it together. It should take you about 40 minutes to complete all the worksheets. If you don't complete them at school, you are welcome to take them home and complete them at home. Make sure you bring them back in ready for marking. This first worksheet is called Japan and Australia, Size and Location. So question 1. Japan is in the Northern Hemisphere. Australia is in the Southern Hemisphere. Write N in the Northern Hemisphere and S in the Southern Hemisphere. So you can see here, Japan is above the equator, so we write N, and Australia is down there in the Southern Hemisphere, so we write S. Question 2 looks at the population of Japan. A lot of people live in Japan. This simple bar graph shows the population of Japan compared to the population of Australia. So if we take all the people of Australia and we put them into this box here, and we call that a 1, we have to look at how many times more people live in Japan than in Australia. So in this bar graph, we can see that the same amount would be 1. But Japan has a lot more people than that. 2 times more, 3 times more, 4, 5, 6, 7 times more people live in Japan than in Australia. So a lot more people live in Japan than Australia, yet their country is a lot smaller. So looking at the country here, this is Australia, and we can see that Japan fits into Australia. In fact, Japan fits into Australia 21 times. If we took this little Japan here and we cut it out and we put it in and pasted it in, we would see that it fits in 21 times. So all of these people live in this tiny little part, and all of these people live in this whole part here. So the task asks, colour Japan red. This is pretty easy. You just colour it in and paste it into your books. So I'm just doing a very rough job, but I would expect when you're doing your work in Japanese that you would do your best work, make your books nice and neat, so that when you come back to do your revision, you'll be not only proud of your work, but you'll be able to see what you're looking for when you're doing revision. The second worksheet is this one that says Japan and Australia location continued. So get that one out and we'll get continued onto that one. This one's interesting because question 4 talks about how long it takes to go from Sydney to Tokyo. So it says it takes about 9 hours to go from Sydney to Tokyo by plane. The plane travels about 900 kilometres per hour. So what you have to do here is work out how many kilometres it is from Sydney to Tokyo. So from here to here, it takes 9 hours, and the plane's travelling at 900 kilometres an hour. It takes about 1 hour to go from Sydney to Melbourne by plane. And what I would like you to do in this one is to measure the lines and trace them in different colours. Question 5. The capital city of Japan is Tokyo, and the main international airports are at Tokyo and Osaka. The capital city of Australia is Canberra, but the main international airports are Sydney and Melbourne. Colour the circles for capitals blue and the other main cities red. And I'll leave you to do that. If you do want to work out some of the distances using an atlas, you can take out an atlas and you can measure using an atlas, or you can use Google Earth or one of the other net-based atlases. Japan and Australia, size and location. This worksheet's getting a little bit trickier. you need to actually study the table. So you might need a calculator as well. So looking at this table, and one of the skills you learn in Year 7, especially in geography and things like that, is how to read a table properly. We're going to look at all the different features of both Japan and Australia so that we can compare them. So we already know that the capital city of Japan is Tokyo and the capital city of Australia is Canberra. So we're going to find out a few other things by looking at that table. So what we can work out is the populations, the area, and the highest point. Then we can answer these questions. We've got 7 questions down the bottom using this information. Now, if you get stuck, there's some words here to help you out. Once you've finished that, you need to hand this sheet in for marking. Our final worksheet for today is Japan and Australia neighbours. And again, we're looking at how you would look at a map in geography. So there's some important things that you need to think about when you look at maps. First of all, your map always needs to have a title. So you can call it whatever you want to. You can say Japan and Australia. You can call it neighbours. I don't mind what you call your map, as long as it makes sense for this map. The next thing you need to do is label all the numbered countries and oceans. So you can see there's some oceans, some countries, some oceans. Some of them you might know, some of them you might need to go and get an atlas or look them up on the internet. You might want to take it home and work with your parents on this one. You need to mark in Tokyo and Canberra. You can see they're actually marked in for you. All you have to do is highlight them. And then you need to colour the land areas green and the sea blue. With all your worksheets completed and marked, then you make sure your name is on them for marking, and then you can paste them into your book. Make sure that you don't have them hanging around in your bag or getting crumpled up. They should go into your book, and your book should always be nice and neat, ready for marking. There's one more video that goes with this topic, and that's the video with the activity. So when you finish this activity, you can go on and click onto that one.